Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. This one is on NBS Intelligence, and we're going to be showing you the unique insights and leads that you can obtain as a manufacturer through the NBS platform. Just a bit of housekeeping. We're expecting this webinar to last roughly 45 minutes today. All attendees' microphones are muted, just for improved sound quality. If you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. We won't respond to them on the call today, but we will follow those up individually afterwards. We tend to get quite a lot of questions asked, so we found that that's probably the most efficient way of doing it. So anything you want to ask, please drop us a note and we will get back to you. Just a few things that you can expect to see today. Initially, I'm going to show you how the NBS platforms interconnect, and then I'm going to bring my colleague along, and we're going to show you how that then leads to the NBS Intelligence and how that can help you boost your sales. And there's also some new features and that the NBS have recently launched that you're going to see today as well. So if you're new to NBS, it's hopefully going to be a bit of an eye-opener for you, but if you're also an existing NBS customer, there might be a few things that you're going to see today that you've not been perhaps used to previously. So again, if you've got any questions, just drop them in and we'll get back to you on that. Your speakers for today are myself. I'm Lee Jones. My job title is the Head of Manufacturer Solutions. I'm effectively a consultant between the business and the manufacturing customer base that we have within NBS. My LinkedIn, Twitter details are there if you want to add me. Sometimes people find it easy to just chat through these types of platforms. But alongside me today, my colleague Taylor is going to be joining me. Taylor's a Senior Account Manager at NBS. Taylor's actually going to be going through the new features and the Insights platform with you in a moment. So just to start, for anybody that's new to NBS, NBS is the National Building Specification. We were founded 50 years ago this year, actually, so it's our half centenary, and the whole premise was to standardize written specifications in the UK. Today, NBS operates very much internationally, and we're part of the Big Factor Group, which in the UK own Glenigan as well. So Glenigan are our sister company, but around the world, there are a lot of different organizations and platforms similar to NBS that Big Factor Group own. The whole premise of NBS, as I mentioned previously, was to standardize specifications. But today, obviously, through those 50 years, there's been a lot of evolution and growth. And the whole platform itself helps to connect the dots between the written specification, the manufacturers, and then ultimately the construction and then use phases. We have 4 core products now. The first one is our IBA CPD. When we were founded those 50 years ago and right up until recently, we were actually established and owned by the Royal Institute of British Architects. So there's that long-standing relationship there. Today, even though we are owned by a different business, we still have that very strong long-standing relationship with the RIBA, and NBS are the only reseller of RIBA CPD material in the UK. If it's something that you're looking to get involved with from a CPD perspective, maybe just to let you know that chartered practices, for example, have to do 35 hours minimum a year to equate to a minimum of 100 points to remain chartered. Our IBA CPD is a great way to go down that route because it's actually verified and checked, the material is by the RIBA, which gives the specifiers and the designers confidence that the CPD material that being delivered is of the highest quality. Then the NBS platforms themselves, we have 2. NBS Chorus, which is the online specification platform. Now, this is where the specifiers would go to actually write specifications, and I'll give you a very quick demo, sort of oversight of what that does and how it works in a moment. But then in tandem to that, we have NBS Source. Now, NBS Source is an online product search engine. You can go and search for hundreds of thousands of construction products in there. But within those listings, we actually have a very, very concise set of structured data that actually connects directly into the specification platform. So through NBS Source, manufacturers' products can be added directly into the specification. And then most recently, we launched NBS Partner Marketing. This is a series of marketing tools and functionalities, paid promotions, that kind of thing, where manufacturers can actually lever on NBS's client base to actually gain visibility in front of a very targeted audience. I'll touch on that briefly in a moment, but if it's something that you're interested in, again, just drop us a note. NBS themselves, it's quite easy for manufacturers to just think of NBS as dealing with the architectural community. And whilst architecture and planning companies do make up roughly half of our client base. The specification tools are actually used far wider than that. So if you look at things like quantity surveying, consultancies, engineering developments, even down to landscape architecture and things like that, there's a very broad mix of people that will specify products. And NBS being the only specification platform within the UK, most tend to use this. If they're not using NBS, they're going to be using something like Microsoft Word, but for your reasonable sized projects upwards, so anything really that you want to be tracking as a manufacturer, you can guarantee that you'll be integrating with somebody that's using NBS in a capacity. We have just under 250,000 users that are actually using the platforms. This is a broad snapshot of the past year, but obviously there's a different number using these day to day. Roughly that equates to around 200,000 hours a month on the platform of people actually going in, writing specifications, searching for construction products and adding those into the specs. And you've got a snapshot there of just some of the customers that we use. Out of the 250,000 different registered users, it equates to over 4,000 businesses. So yeah, our customers are your customers. If it's something that you are looking to gain insight in, into how specification can maybe help you increase your sales, again, just drop us a note. From a social media point of view, and I think this really links into the partner marketing functionality that was mentioning just, NBS has pretty much the majority of the AJA top 100 as customers. But from a social media reach, we've got a very large presence on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And then our webinars, you're obviously dialed into one of those today. These are highly successful, and it's quite common for us to get over 1,000 attendees. We do tend to do manufacturer-specific ones, but then specifier-specific ones as well. Sometimes there is an overlap, and we might do a webinar that suits both. But within the specification side of things, there is opportunities there for things like sponsorship or guest speaker slots, etc., within the webinars as well. So yeah, very, very large reach, and it's an avenue that you can maybe explore that might be something different than you've been used to doing previously. The website itself gets a huge amount of hits. I think in the last year it was 190,000 plus visitors every month. And then the newsletters, obviously through the client base, we've got a reach of well over 60,000 people. So yeah, great place to be. If it's somewhere you want to list your products, or if it's somewhere that you want to look at maybe doing some targeted marketing campaigns, drop us a note. Our marketing team are absolutely fantastic, lovely people, and they've obviously won quite a number of awards, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. So yeah, drop us a note if you want to know more. Just a little bit about sustainability. NBS are actually a carbon neutral business. We were certified last year in recognition of our 2021 emissions, and that's ongoing. So the certification will be renewed this year. We've just compiled our recent figures. This slide needs updated. Last year, we'd achieved a 56% reduction in our carbon emissions since the base year of 2019. From last year's stats, it's actually now 62%. So we've achieved a further increase. Absolutely phenomenal result in the reduction strategy there and the decarbonisation of the business. We do a lot of other things as well to achieve that carbon neutrality status, as well as the reductions, including things like planting trees within the northeast, where I think now with the total, it's going to be around 6,000 trees this year that we would have planted near to the offices in the UK. But then we invest in renewable energy schemes as well internationally. These things are great because you can actually verify that the money that you're spending and the credits that you're actually putting towards these schemes is actually being used to decarbonize industries or regions instead of it just being procured totally on maybe international investments in plantations and things, which you just don't have the scope of measuring and such. That was against all of our emissions from Scope 1, 2, and the majority of Scope 3 as well. We are looking at increasing that this year to the remaining balance for the Scope 3 emissions, but it's something that we've gone above and beyond with. And if you as a business are looking to achieve something similar to yourself, whether you're just looking at a decarbonisation strategy or if you want to go for the PAS 2060 certification, which is the demonstration of carbon neutrality, drop us a note. More than happy to talk to you. It'd probably be myself that would be speaking to you on that. Got lots of experience in doing these kind of things, and we'd like to help where we can. So moving on with the rest of the presentation for today, then I'm going to just switch on to the internet now, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of how the NBS platforms work. So the first screen we can see is NBS Source. As I mentioned in the previous slides, NBS Source is our online product search engine. It's completely cloud-based, and all the data within this is machine readable. We're on the landing page here. You can search for products by categories or by manufacturer. We've just recently launched a new inspiration page where you can go as a specifier and search for things. Now, for manufacturers, this is great. You can add case studies in. So if we were looking for, I don't know, say carpet or something like that, we can then search here. And you can start to see lots of inspiration. You can narrow that search down. It might be that you're only interested in commercial developments, and then that might only be interested in school commercial developments, for example. You can get it much more narrowed down. So as a manufacturer, if you're looking to get your products in front of people, this is a great place to start. Every manufacturer that's on NBS Source has the ability to upload case studies, so we'd highly recommend you taking a look at that. You can search for products within here as well, just as a generic search. We've got information on how NBS Source works, my recently viewed products, so things that I was looking at. And then we get into things like the featured manufacturers and featured products, and this all aligns in with the partner marketing suite. Popular categories, so these are things where people have been specifying more frequently of late. And then featured case studies here, so you can start to flick through these, and if we were to click on read more, it takes us directly to that particular case study that's listed within NBS Source itself, and we can take a look more at that, or we could then go and contact the manufacturer or visit the manufacturer's website and so forth. Going back onto the landing page, let's search for a product. So what I'm thinking of looking for, let's pick something completely different than carpet, what we were just looking for. Let's go for roof lights. You can see that it's starting to bring in results here based on the words that I've typed in. So it's using that relevant search engine optimization. We'll hit search, and it's brought in 486 results. So within the NBS platform, there's almost 500 roof lights that a specifier could go and pick from. We can narrow these down through the filters within here, whether it's the size, the manufacturer, even down to environmental information. So what embodied carbon figures do each of these have, etc. Something quite key that the specification community are looking from the manufacturers at the moment. Or we could go and pick by manufacturer. So let's pick on Velux. That was just the first one that I clicked on there. You can see that we've got one of their particular products here. There's all different things that they can actually click on. Let's have a look at this one. How the product listings go. Firstly, we start off with the application. So for this, you can see that it's for pitches between 5 and 15 degrees. For the specifiers, they don't want to be speccing products, and as manufacturers, you won't want them specifying products where they can't actually be used in the situation. I typically use something like insulation as an example of this, where it comes as a roll of sheet material, and without knowing the actual ins and outs of it, you wouldn't know if it went in a floor, a wall, or a ceiling. And obviously that application applies to every kind of product pretty much across the board. So we'll list that first to make sure that they are specifying something that they can use. You can then have the description with features and benefits, so you can add marketing information in here and such. We then go down into general information. So this is what powers the filters on the left-hand side of the search that we were looking at just. But then where it really starts to take shape is when we get into the specification. So NBS has produced the common arrangement to work section clauses for a long time now, decades in fact, and most manufacturers will be used to this. For glazing fenestration, you'd be used to an L10 spec. If you're into panels, you might be looking at K32, sanitary ware N13, and so forth. But back in 2015, we were actually appointed by the government to build something called the BIM Toolkit. This was to allow people to manage the project information, through BIM projects, as the government were getting ready to mandate that in 2016. One of the outcomes of this was Uniclass. Now, Uniclass is an entirely new classification system. NBS have got this mapped in the background. But today, out of all specifications written in the UK, it's roughly a 50-50 split now. So half of your customers will be using Uniclass, half will be using cores. Obviously, Uniclass is the one that's on the rise and is growing day by day. NBS will classify your products to Uniclass to begin with, and then we'll associate the relevant core sections to that. So irrespective of what the specifier is using to write their specification, your products will pull through into the platform. From that classification then, the source platform will associate a product data template. Now, we've got absolutely thousands of these things, as you can imagine, through building them over the past 50 years. And each template is unique to that particular product type and code. So if we were looking at a toilet here, if we were looking at that carpet tile that we were looking at, it would be a completely different data template, obviously because the information surrounding those that you would need to specify would be completely different than a roof light. But for a roof light, you can see that we've got all the relevant information from the shape of it down to the performance, its reaction to fire, the U value, obviously key today with the energy crisis and decarbonisation. Specifiers are looking for all of this kind of information. And what NBS do is we actually use machine readable data, so everything's digital. So gone are the days of using static PDFs where you've got to then manually copy information over from one to the next. Through having this series of properties and then the attributes to them, we can actually allow the software to talk to another software. And in our case, it's NBS Chorus. Then goes through a load of other different information, and then right down to if you've got things like digital objects, so it could be CAD files, it could be BIM files, all of those can be uploaded there. NBS can actually build BIM files as well. We've got a team of content creators within the business. If it's something that you're looking to get created, again, just drop us a note and we'd be happy to look into that for you. And then associated literature, case studies, similar products. If you've got things like third-party certification, etc. as well, those can all be uploaded there. So if you make timber flooring, for example, you might want to upload your FSC certificate and so forth. But you get the idea. So this particular product that we were looking at then, was a framed roof light. Now, how would that get into the spec? So this is NBS Chorus. This is the specification platform. This is what the majority of the specification community will subscribe to, and they'll use this to write their projects. Now, this webinar is about NBS Intelligence, leads, insights. So I've shown you how the platform lists things, and the whole idea of this is then to show you where that data comes from when Taylor's actually showing you what the responses are. So in the background here, if I just click on Edit Details, this is a project that's previously set up. It's just a demo for this particular webinar, as you can see there, but we can add imagery. All of the information that gets added in by the specifier at each stage of the project, even down to what stage it's at, the plan of work, who the main contractor is, etc., gets added in. We can set the geographical location, so you know whereabouts it is in the world. There could be notes, and we can click Save Project. There's a little note here that talks about confidential. That can be done, that can be set up. It typically goes on things like MOD or places where there's high security risk, but for your typical projects, the majority of them will pull through. So I'll just jump back into the spec on this, and we're going to set up a fenestration specification. So this would be the spec for glazing, doors, that kind of thing. And we're going to add some content. So I'm just going to click on Add. And within this, I'm going to type in framed roof lights, hit the search button. And it's actually brought in a list based on the keywords and the search engine optimization there. That's the one we want. I'm just going to add that to the spec. This is exactly what the specifier would see as they're completing their specification. And you can see that it's now brought in the data templates. Now, in the old days, the specifier would actually physically go through and write in everything that they needed within this template, or the manufacturer could provide them with a PDF or a catalog or something like that, and they'd copy the information over. Because of all the products being listed in source, when I now click into manufacturer, you can see that straight away everything that's an NBS source is now bought into the Chorus platform. So if we go into this product that we were looking at just in source, it's the Vario fixed roof light. Within here, we can then start to search. So if I type VLux in here, it'll then only show me the products by those. And then I can find the particular one that we were looking at. So I'm just going to click on this now. You can see all of that information that was listed within source, the application down to the specification clause is now within there. And once the specifier has decided that that's the product they want to add to the spec, it's just a simple case of clicking add to spec. They do that, and Chorus then auto-populates the specification for them. So there's no manual entry of data other than if there are any variables. So this might be available in different colors, in which case we just do those as a drop down. Again, you say you might be a furniture manufacturer that does a bench in 3 different sizes. You could have one listing. It doesn't have to be multiple listings, and the options and variables can just be selectable through drop downs. They pick those things and then hit save, and that's added to the spec. That would then obviously trigger a log in the background, and Taylor will show you how all that works in a moment. But just to give you a bit of extra idea of where some of these analytics can come from as well, in the NBS partner platform, we've actually got something called web integration. Now, this is a configurator, and you can completely customize this to suit your own fonts, colors, and so forth, your own imagery. And what it results in is something like this. So what we've got here is Symphony Kitchen's own website. These are an NBS customer, but we're actually now on the Symphony Group website itself. We've moved away from the NBS platform. And the web integration tool has allowed them to embed the NBS source listings within their site. So if a specifier finds you through your own site and that they don't find you through NBS source, all of that structured information, the classification types, etc., the BIM content is all listed within there. But importantly as well, alongside that, they've then also got that add to spec functionality. So you can click that and it actually copies it to the clipboard. And then when we were in the specification, we can just go in and we can paste that. So if I do a paste here, you can see that directly from the manufacturer's website, it's then adding that in. Okay, so that's a very, very quick overview. The platform goes a lot deeper than that. And again, if you want to know more, please just drop us a note. But without further ado, I think it'd be great to invite my colleague Taylor in. And Taylor's going to show you what all of those actions then mean from an analytics point of view, what you get to actually measure return on investment, but importantly, the amount of leads and insights that you get to actually boost your sales as a business. So Taylor, if you'd like to introduce yourself, I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee, and hi everyone. My name's Taylor. Some of you might recognise me as I am one of the account managers at NBS. So I'm really excited to present to you today some improvements that we've made to our current analytics portal, and also some brand new features that are going to help you get the most out of your exposure to architects, but also help you make product decisions based on what's going on in your industry. So some of this is included as part of your subscription. Some of it is an additional extra to your subscription. What I would say is that after you've seen what we've been through today, just to get in touch with your account manager and we can talk you through it in more detail. The other caveat is, in the interest of protecting GDPR, we have created a new manufacturer called LJ Doors after our very own Lee Jones. So this isn't anyone else's data, it's just a made-up dummy account to show you the new portal. So let's have a look at what's new in the platform. So we're in the NBS partner platform here, and there's loads of things that you can do in here, from being able to update your product information, down to your literature, your case studies. Lee just mentioned the website integration tool, which you can set up from within the platform. And we're also going to look into the analytics section today. So this is where you might notice some changes that we've made. If we just sit into the dashboard section, you can see these 2 new tiles at the top. So the first one is the number of specifications you've been added to. Then the other one is leads available, which I'm going to talk through in more detail. Scrolling down, you can see top level, the sort of projects that you've been added to. So this is everything from the category and also the stage of work that it's at. So where this is pulled from is NBS Chorus, as you'll know, is a cloud-based platform. So we can get the data from what specifiers are putting into their projects. So as you can see here, it's everything from the value of the project, the stage and the Reba plan of works that it's at, and the type of project that it is as well, to help you make decisions on your own products and projects that you're working towards. As you can see there, most of them at the technical design stage, as you would imagine. So still at the core of what we do and our main sort of analytics is the added to specification information. So this is really what you're always working towards with NBS, getting your product into a specification. I'm sure if you're an existing customer that you check this regularly and you're aware of all the information that's on there, but just a bit of an insight to the sort of information that you would get as part of your subscription if you're an NBS customer, if you've not seen this before, added to spec analytics. So if I just see the specifications that have been added to here, we start off with some numbers. So you've got the numbers of impressions, which is the number of times you've been found in a search, numbers of time your product's been viewed, and then also the numbers of times, importantly, that you've been added to a specification. So you can play around with the date range at the top there as it is doing. And then you can also see comparison data. So if I've selected 3 months of all my specifications, it'll show you that previous 3 months as well. So scrolling down, this is where you get the real useful information. So things like the name of the product that's been specified, your practice name, the project name, and the project location as well. What you'll also start to see now is links through to Glenigan's that are on your analytics. So if you're a Glenigan's customer, you can use that as a direct route into the project and the information that's on there. And this will show you everything from the value of the project, the contacts that are working on it to give you a deep level of information, and even the PDF of the plans that are being submitted. So that just makes your workflow easier, going through your specification information into analytics, straight through into Glenigan's. And this is something that nobody else can do to be able to help you plan and track through the whole way through your project timeline and when you're getting them analytics into your portal. Okay, so moving on from added to spec. So this is something that's new. It might be completely new to a lot of people, and improvements that we've made to give you more information for you to go out and use as a business development tool. So this is leads. This is about being one step ahead. This is having information on projects created in your relevant project area where a manufacturer hasn't been selected. So what might have happened is that within the NBS Chorus platform, the specifier might have needed a door with a certain fire rating, but hasn't specified what manufacturer they're looking for. So they might have put contractor's choice or submit proposals. So what you would get is that information before it's in any other data site, before it's on Google, when it's pulled straight from NBS Chorus, and you can use that to get in touch with the contractor and to win the project. So let's have a look what this looks like. You see that the number of leads available over a certain date range appear in your portal. And then scrolling down, similar to what's on the added to spec, you've got information based on contractor's choice and submit proposals for project location, project name, and over the relevant classification that you're under. So we pull this again from NBS Chorus. If I'm just looking at this door set specification here, you can see that next to manufacturer, the specifier hasn't selected a specific manufacturer. They've just put submit proposals. Just to show that example again, scrolling down further in the spec, in this example, they put contractor's choice. So across your relevant product range, your classification, your Uniclass classification that you fit under, you'll be able to get details of them projects with the relevant information there. And if you've got a Glenigan's link as well, that links through nicely through to Glenigan. So you've got an either deeper level of information across that. So for example, this one will show you wood door sets, and then you would get all the specifications that haven't yet been assigned to a manufacturer for you to make contact with them, which is going to improve your lead process. It'd be ideal for anyone who's working in business development and who wants to secure more projects that they're working on, additional to what they're already getting through NBS in their own added to spec analytics. So moving on to the next section, we've got NBS Intelligence. So this is about having awareness of what's going on in your relevant product range outside of just what you're doing. So when you're making important decisions over the sort of projects you want to target or the type of things that you want to go after, you can have insight to not just how your products are doing, but how your product, how other people's products within that relevant category are performing in the industry and the kind of projects that they're working on. So you'll see the Insights tab appear in your analytics section if you do purchase this additional add-on. Again, you've got the date range at the top, and it'll show you across your relevant classification. So you can pick specifically, if you want to look at wood door sets, for example, this will be able to show you the amount of specifications created within that relevant category, and then information based on what type of projects they are. So you can see here, mainly education projects, and have split between new build and refurbishment. If we then change that down to composite door sets and scroll down, you'll see that education's come down a little bit, but new build is the main sort of project nature. And then if you really wanted to go down even further, you can also split this out into the different classifications. So you can go down into Uniclass, or as Lee was mentioned earlier, the common arrangement of work sections, your L20, to get even more information based on the kind of specifications that have been created in that relevant area. It'll give you, based on the numbers of dates that you've got, actual specifications created on that date for NBS Chorus. Scrolling down, which is something that I'm not going to go through in too much detail today, but would be great for you to contact your account manager to look out for your relevant competitor analysis, is how you're working against competitors in your same project range. So over a number of months, you'll be able to see your market share based on the numbers of specifications that you've been put in for NBS Chorus in comparison to other people. So if you're the market leader, you can use that to ensure that you're remain at that top point, or if you're second, third, fourth in the market, you can see how you're comparing, and then work with your NBS account manager, work with us to make sure that you've got your keywords in the right places and you've got all the relevant product data on there to really boost that up even further. So this is about just giving you more information for you to work from, information that you can use to then make relevant decisions in your business and have a general awareness of what's going on outside in the industry, not just in your products. So just to round this up, I think it's good to sort of put things in context and show you why we're doing what we're doing and how other platforms are doing something similar. So I don't know how many keen runners they are. It's definitely something that I've started doing with it being January. This is a really good example of what Strava do. So let's say that you're in a relevant, a new area that you're not aware of, and you want to be able to plan a route of where you're going. What Strava do is take information or intelligence based on what they're used to doing to help you plan the best route and make the best decision for where you're going to go on your run. And this is similar to something that Google Analytics do as well. So let's say that you want to visit a certain area. It's not going to show you just when it's open. It'll also show you the busiest times, when you can then make a decision of whether you want to visit and sort of plan your decisions around that. So we're doing something in a similar way, using intelligence based on what's pulled from our platform to give you more information, help you make better decisions throughout your business. So that's just giving you a very quick run through of the new features that we've got and the new improvements that we've made. What I would say is there's much more to it. So get in touch with your NBS account manager, get them to do a run through with your data so you can see what it looks like for your relevant information. And this will help you make better decisions based on what you do within the business and generally use your NBS analytics even further. Okay, Lee, I'm going to pass back over to you now so you can wrap up for the rest of the demo.
So thanks very much, Taylor. Hopefully you found that as insightful as we hope. We're really, really proud of the work that the NBS development team have been doing to do this. I know as a manufacturer, 20 odd years myself, and being an NBS customer through most of those 2 decades, having those back then would have been a hell of a lot easier, particularly with things around knowing what the competitors are doing, and even down to things like the integration with Glenigan now. I know some of the sales teams that worked in the businesses that I've run previously do these kind of things siloed, but to be able to do that once now obviously provides lots and lots of efficiency. So I'm just going to wrap up and then we'll let you get on with the rest of your day. So from a summary point of view, what we've gone over to date is that the NBS platforms provide unique sales and marketing tools to the industry. Obviously, from a specification point of view, they're helping the industry improve efficiency and safety, and also sustainability as well. But for the case of this webinar, it's actually providing a lot more insight to the manufacturing sector that you might have had previously. The platform allows the ability to add your products to the specification in a single click. I say products, it could be a system or a material. We use products as a generic term. But yeah, that's just one click. That could be from your website, it could be from NBS Source, it could be directly in NBS Chorus. There's a load of different things that you can do there. Ultimately, it allows you to increase your sales leads with accurate and real-time data. Taylor showed the demonstration earlier of Google and Strava and things, and that's exactly what NBS are doing for you today. We're giving you that real-time information to allow you to make efficient and accurate decisions. It can connect the dots between specification and procurement, particularly with the Glenigan integration now. You can go directly from the specifier and the details in the project there and feed that directly through to the procurement information and who's responsible for actually purchasing your products at stage 5. Benchmarking competitors, I think this is quite unique, being able to see who's gaining more specifications than you, etc., within a given period, and being able to actually assess that and work out where you could maybe improve, etc. Or if you're dominating, to share the good news with people, then I think that's pretty important. And ultimately, it all involves increased project understanding, which for both your relationship with the specifiers, the contractors and so forth, and also your internal operations, this can only be a benefit. So yeah, great stuff. And I'd really like to thank Taylor for going through all of that for us again. If you're interested in anything that you've seen today, please feel free to speak to us. The telephone number's there on the screen. For those that may be partially sighted, it's 0345 200 1056. Or you can drop us a note at manufacturers@thenbs.com. One of the team would be more than happy to chat to you. And if you have put any questions in the chat today, we will follow those up to you very soon. So keep an eye on your inbox, and we'll get back to you when we can. I've been Lee Jones. I'd like to thank Taylor again for joining me today, and I'd like to wish you a pleasant day. Thank you very much.